show up. And get you slide going. Take it away. He set his own timer.
Hi guys, my name is Aaron Marshall. I'm CEO and founder of Freedom Electric Solutions. Today I would like to present to you just about how I came about making electric vehicles, the problems that it solves, and the utility that it offers. So, a little background about myself. I have more than 5 years of experience with computer repair, more than 4 years developing and manufacturing multiple electric vehicles. I self-educated. Everything that I know about electronics and computers was self-taught out of utility and having the problem that I needed to solve, usually with short funds because that's the college struggle. I have years of experience with lithium batteries ever since I was basically a child old enough to play with electricity. I was messing with lithium battery packs on little RC cars and splitting them up into different type of battery packs. The birth of Freedom Electric Solutions was basically from necessity. Every vehicle I made was used in my day-to-day life. This is my first year of college at Florida A&M University, and standing next to me is quite a large electric skateboard, which was my first electric vehicle. This was an experiment with solar power recharging while I was riding back and forth to class because you don't always have time to plug something up and charge it. This is way before Freedom Electric was even a concept. I was just making these out of my own passion. And they were all used on day-to-day interactions for daily transport, getting groceries, or just getting out and having fun. My Freedom bikes are quite a handful, I would like to say, compared to the other people in the market, because they have everything those bikes have. Most of them included when other companies charge for them, and things that the other bikes don't offer for the option that are optional. I have a patent pending for a universal modular bicycle fairing. Well, you can't really see it very well here, but it's completely sketched up. I have multiple figures. It's right now with the patent officer for review. You know how long that takes. Basically, what a universal modular bicycle fairing is, a universal fairing that you can put on just about any bike, not just my own, and it's modular, so you can add parts to it or take parts off, and you can fold it up and slip it in your backpack. What it offers is aerodynamic efficiency, so when you're traveling at speeds greater than 15 miles per hour, you no longer have wind gushing into your face and slowing you down, because when you're sitting on a bike, your chest acts as a parachute, and that adds more drag to the system. So this basically gives you more efficiency, more speed, and a more comfortable ride. It has acrylic shatter-resistant glass all around it, so you don't even have to worry about dropping your bike or anything. The system, which is the electrical system on this electric bike right here, I actually rode it from my house to the Hatch program. And I have been riding this for more than, I would say, at least 2,000 miles. With this particular system, I have electric motors that have more than 3,000 to 4,000 miles on them, and we're running perfectly fine before I slow them off. And the best part about this bike right now is the USB programmable settings. So what that means is when you get your bike, you're no longer limited to what I sell you, but it'll be bundled with a simple software where you can alter the parameters of the bike, the speed, the torque, the regen braking, all with a simple, probably 2 clicks on the program. Take you less than a minute. I've done it multiple times, and it has about a 12 to 15 mile range, 25 to 35 miles if you're pedaling with the motor. All of the bikes come completely custom wired. They'll have front and back disc brakes, so stopping will no longer be a problem. They come standard with a 2 to 3 hour recharger, which is usually enough time for most people. But if you are using this for a day-to-day commute and going door to door, you might want to opt for the 1 hour recharger, which charges the battery very quickly. thing noted with the Star is optional, so we also do custom ordered battery packs in case you wanted a super long range and wanted to up this from 15-mile range to 50 miles on a single charge. We can definitely do that. Okay, now a little bit about the bike. I'm going to spin the motor here so no one gets surprised. It's completely silent, and whether you know it or not, it's been on this entire time. Completely silent for the speed that it offers, and this motor right here will, it's a custom motor of course, will take you up to about 35 miles per hour top speed. It puts down almost 3 times the torque that a normal dirt bike puts down, so it's definitely a utility and a fun vehicle, and like I said, USB programmable, so you can turn the power down if you want to go back on the streets. I've already discussed all the bikes. The bike frames will come in small, medium, and large, so it'll fit just about any person, man, woman, or child. The features I've already discussed. It comes with pedal assistance, power meters, so you don't have to worry about running out of range. The range anxiety, if you go somewhere far, you can come back and without guessing if you're going to make it back or not. We do custom LED lighting in case you do night riding, and our battery packs also offer USB power to charge your phone or any accessory that you want to keep with you. Now the problems that this bike solves are far and spread wide, quite obviously. For city dwellers, it solves the parking problems. Finding parking close to your job, or if you're going door to door, you usually have to pay for parking in a parking lot that's inflated prices. Traffic sucks in the city, obviously, so where you're like riding in your car and sitting at a stoplight wondering why you're going to be late for work when you can basically see your door, you could probably be doing that same trip without paying for gas in probably 7 minutes on one of my electric bikes. They're sidewalk legal and street legal, so you can ride it on the street or sidewalk. Is classified as a bicycle. You can get them DOT approved if you want to turn the power up and ride it just like a moped. For the elderly, they desire activity. We can't just lock our grandparents up in retirement homes and expect them to sit there all day. So for people that want to get active or get out and enjoy themselves but don't have the stamina that is required to ride a bicycle, it has various levels of pedal assistance. So the motor will actually pedal with the person and match their input or exceed it a little bit so you can take the strain off. So you can still get exercise while you ride my bikes. And for college students, oh boy, coming from my personal situation, parking is terrible. So parking permit at ODU is about $125, and you still have to park more than half a mile away from campus. Sometimes cars are inaccessible as a first-year student, so if you don't have a vehicle and you don't have the money to buy a full vehicle, we offer these bikes so you don't have to worry about paying for gas, maintenance, because usually the cars that college students buy are junker cars or cars that are just to get from point A to B, and they don't always do that reliably. You can buy one of these bikes and leave it in your apartment building and take it out whenever you need to ride it and never worry about it not working. No need for gas money, so no calling home. Inter-campus transport, so you can lock your bike up right in front of class. You don't have to walk from the parking garage from the parking garage to class, and no insurance spike. So what happens with insurance is when a college student goes off and buys a car or buys a car before they go to college, you get a spike in your insurance. With these bikes, there's no spike in insurance. You don't even have to claim this or report this to your insurance. It's just a bicycle, USA legal. The fun, okay. There's lots of fun to be had with these vehicles, obviously. My electric off-road skateboard is exactly that. I'm in the gravel here. You can see me in a parking lot. I don't know what parking lot it is. I usually just stop somewhere and pull out my bike or skateboard and start riding. This very same bike is at First Landing Park. Some 9 miles out into the trail, I was just riding out there and decided to take a picture. And here is another model of my bikes. This is the previous model in the snow. I'm sure you remember the snow that we had that backed us all up. I was not backed up. I swapped my tires for some off-road tires on the back. It took me less than 20 minutes. And I was riding around having fun, getting groceries and doing everything while I was watching other cars struggle to get back and forth or get out of the ice. And you could just see people drop-jawed as they saw me fly by. They're versatile, reliable, low maintenance, and customizable. As you see, there's only one moving part on the bike. When you have a car, you have a lot of violence going on inside of that system. you have a transmission, you have a clutch, you have the revs from your engine. It's a lot of things slamming into each other that wear down over time. With this, there's just one moving part, the motor, and the wires that are inside of the motor, they don't even move. So there's much less chance for anything to fail in the electric system. The future. Well, I've been running many charts and programs to optimize the future for electric bikes in this world, electric bikes and cars. This graph just compares some of the dirt bikes' torque output and wattage to the bikes that I have, and there's many type of performance vehicles that I plan to go forward with, off-road vehicles, supercars, performance coupes, and we also retrofit old bikes, cars, junker cars, project cars, anything fully functional or recycled junkyard cars.
We're going to have to get on to questions.
Okay.
So
That's basically it. That's the wrap up right there. We're partnered with multiple bike shops and some car shops, and all of the electronics have been tested for more than 2,000 miles, so proven reliable. I ride them every day.
Okay, great. Let's start with the questions. I know I have, yeah, it's great. I know I have a bunch of questions, but I definitely want to hear them from you all first. What do you want to know about Freedom Electric Solutions? Yes, sir.
Great idea. Really intrigued and fascinated by how you even came up with this. How do you market this? And from a, I saw your features and benefits in terms of pricing and all that too, and competition.
I market it to the people seeking performance and the people that are seeking economical ways to get around from point A to point B. There's a lot of people that are looking into the hybrids or the Teslas and all types of alternative transportation. I'm trying to offer an insight into that world.
How do you reach those customers?
Oh, how do I reach them?
Yes. You talked about through bike shops.
Yeah, bike shops, car shops. I'm partnered with a bike shop that's in a large bicycle chain that's right in the heart of New York City, and he's ready to sell my bikes immediately. And he's the hugest bicycle, from what I know, the hugest bicycle shop in New York City. And I met him through someone that's I work with at the car shop, so it's all linked in together. And I have a whole bunch of people on Colley Avenue. Hunt's Recycle Factory is actually a large face in the bicycle world, so he'll be hitting me down on those fronts for that for me also.
Good. Okay, Brett, then Chuck.
All right. So other local bicycle chains, do they already carry electric bikes? Have you talked to them?
There's one bicycle shop that I know of right now that carries Pettigo bikes and a couple of other like mass manufactured bicycles that aren't comparing with the quality that I offer, because all of my bikes are handmade and offer all the bells and whistles that their bikes do not have for a higher price. So I think it's Virginia Beach electric bikes or something, but they don't offer any really competitive bikes.
Or Frogs or whatever that's called, Fat Frogs or whatever.
Freewheeling and stuff like that. Actually, there is Virginia Beach electric bikes right down by you. And,
yeah, I don't know of any other stores that actually sell electric bikes.
So you're saying your bike is less expensive than the competition's?
If not less expensive, it's definitely more competitive because of the performance they offer, the customizability. I stand by my bikes. Their bikes, they don't know anything about their bikes. They're going to have to, if something goes wrong with their system, they will have to send it back to the person that manufactured it, and then you'll have to end up waiting quite a while to get it back again.
Chuck.
You mentioned two things that piqued my interest related to the actual business model itself. You mentioned that they're custom, each one's custom, but you also mentioned retrofitting. Those are two opposing business models. Retrofitting is packaged, something that anybody can kind of do on their own, and then custom is, like you said, you're going for performance and whatnot. So what do you see as your break into the market? Is there more potential in the custom side, or is there more potential with the retrofit package side?
I would push harder for the custom electric bikes. Not necessarily custom electric bikes. I will have multiple lines of bikes that I sell. There's already two bikes on the website, the Rebel and the Freedom Fighter, which are a one-road version and the off-road version that I offer, completely decked out with everything on it and straight from my house or my car shop, whichever one I guess.
So to follow up on that then, so you you are more likely to do lots of different kinds of vehicles that are electric and custom and performance than you are to like offer a bunch of different bikes that meet a consumer price point. Like, what is the price? What would I expect to pay for a Freedom electric bike? Like, if I don't want that, but I want to be able to go get my groceries.
If you don't want this one, well, this one isn't really on the market yet. This would be a deluxe model that has full suspension, hydraulic disc brakes. But the model, the lowest priced one right now is the Rebel, which is at $17.99, and that's including everything that I listed in these USB programmable front suspension, front and rear disc brakes, and this is a whole bunch of things that I've learned from myself looking at the competition that they don't always offer for a reasonable price, because it's not really that overpriced to bring this stuff to the market. They just maximize on profit and use cheap parts and cheap Chinese electronics. First thing I do when I get my motors is I rip the wires out of it and put thick copper wire in it that I get from my my part supplier.
Did you have a question, Steve? And then
I got a question about, again, safety. What kind of cutoff system do you have? Because I got some grandsons that, love this stuff, but they love brick walls too, kind of a thing. So they would splat like a bug.
Yes.
What kind of safety cutoffs or anything do you build into?
There's multiple safety cutoffs built into the bikes. First of all, when you squeeze either brake, the motor, all power to the motor is cut.
nice.
And another thing you can do with that is program regen braking when you squeeze it a little more. So if you want to squeeze it half squeeze or just to get rid of the play, all power is cut to the motor, and if you squeeze it a little more, you can get regen braking back into the motor.
So it just shuts everything off for you?
Automatically, and all the bikes will come with thumb throttles unless requested for a twist throttle. That way you can't accidentally activate the motor when you're lifting the bike up somewhere, because I've seen people do that a couple of times, so it'll be thumb activated.
Ray and then Nisha.
If you're using this on public roads, are you required to wear a helmet?
Yes, you're always required to wear a helmet while you're riding this bike. It's USA classified as, USA limited to the 750 watt profile, so it's legally considered a bicycle anywhere in the United States where you're required to wear a helmet on public roads.
Nisha. And then
As far as the recharging of the battery pack, like what methods can you use to recharge the battery?
They'll all come packaged with their own charger. If you opt for the 1 hour recharge, it'll come with a beefed up charger that can handle the current and just distribute it to the battery more quickly. But other than that, they'll come with incredibly standard connectors. You could probably replace the connectors yourself if you're slightly handy with a soldering iron. I'm not using exclusive parts to lock down my bikes. I want them to be consumer friendly and totally, work on them, able to work on them.
How long does it take you to build one?
To build one of these bikes, I'd say it takes me about 4 to 5 hours to build it and test the batteries, because I like to test all my electronics before I build it. But to actually just build a bike, it takes me maybe 3 to 4.
3 or 4 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's fast.
Yes, I've been doing it for a while now, so I
Brett,
just pop it in.
Triel, and don't know your name. Troy. Brett, Triel, Troy.
So when you said that price point, that actually was a lot higher than I would have expected as a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So the first impulse I think is, okay, now the challenge is finding that audience for that price point. You mentioned earlier a little bit about what your target market is, but do you have more concrete sort of marketing plans to actually reach those customers, or are you just waiting for them to come to you?
I just got out of school.
Okay.
I was a full-time student, and I just got my Facebook page populated with one guy, but I am researching marketing strategies as I go along every day and night. I'm working on improving my company. Right now, it was just a time constraint that I haven't been able to find a specific way to market these bikes, but there's a market for them, and I'm definitely going to find it. I'm sure a couple of people already know where to market these bikes at. A lot of people were telling me to market them at the ends, like Hampton Inn, or some of the inns that have a lot of places close by where they could just buy a couple of bikes and let their users use the bikes.
Right. Okay. Did you?
So your competitive advantage is your ability to make the bikes custom, whereas your competitor has them all standardized and is well fit. But what I want to know is when it comes to having somebody that, like, let's say I come in with a bike and I want it to be custom, my own bike, I want it to be converted. Where do you see yourself in that market? Because I see that as being kind of two separate areas.
Oh, we offer that. We offer that. That when I was speaking of retrofitting, that's what I meant. I don't know if that's exact correct vocabulary for that, but when someone wants to get their bike fitted with an electrical system, they can bring it in, and I can install any of our motors. We'll have a whole bunch of various motors of various power outputs. It won't even have to necessarily be the motor that I have on this bike right here. It can be a lower powered motor, so you can have a less noticeable impact on your bike riding experience.
So how much does that cost if I bring you my bike and you build it?
The parts plus labor. Like I said, it's not always. The batteries at this point in time cost about maybe $200 to $300. Depends on what kind of battery you want, what kind of power that you desire, and how far you want to go on the bike. So I can't really give you a set price because that varies as you have more demand for your bike.
Troy,
He asked a question, so I'm good.
I asked your question?
Yeah.
Okay. I felt bad. Yes, sir.
Did you check the bike sharing programs? In the cities there is a lot of bike sharing programs and people might be interested in those. Can you offer it to them?
Yes, I was definitely looking into that. Huns Recycle Factory is part of ODU's bike rental, so I'm sure he's going to be the main one pushing for the bike share inside the city. Right now, what I'm mostly concerned about is the way people treat the bikes, because it is an electric bicycle. It is not a typical bicycle to have normal people walk in and just take it off a rack. So it would have to be a membership-based program where people can be held liable for the technology that they're using.
Beth, we have time for a couple more questions, and we have one final question for him.
Okay. So you're out and about, the battery dies. How hard is it to pedal? I mean, how does it work when the battery dies and you need to get home?
Well,
you can't plug it in.
I'm not going to lie, I've had the battery die out on myself one time when I was trying to go a little further than I thought I could, but it's not that bad to pedal back. There's a vague resistance from the motor, but if you disconnect the power from the motor, it pedals like a normal bike with a little bit of extra weight in the back.
And no gears though, so...
It has all the gear. It has all the gears a normal bike. It functions completely like a normal bicycle with a motor attached. So if the motor dies out, you can still pedal. You're not stranded anywhere.
Chuck.
Since you are going the custom route, how do you plan on scaling? You say it's taking 3 to 4 hours. That means you can do 2 bikes a day. Have you standardized the process enough to where you can train individuals on how to do it themselves, so you can have a team?
Oh yeah, I can definitely teach people to do this. I have a couple of friends that probably already have the know-how to do everything I'm doing. I have an electrical engineer that I've grown up with that's been working with me on my speed controller circuits to make them more efficient, and he's already opted for building a couple of bikes over the summer.
Tom?
Yeah, I forgot what my question was. I'm trying to figure out from your perspective, is this like a lifestyle business, or are you trying to scale it really large? So how many bicycles do you anticipate selling, say, in the upcoming 12 months?
I plan to sell as many bikes as I possibly can, so I can transition as quickly as possible to street bikes and cars, because I don't plan to stay selling electric bikes for my entire business. Freedom Electric Solutions is Freedom Electric Solutions and not Freedom Electric Bikes, because we are planning to be a very large company where we offer all types of solutions to transportation problems and all types of people just looking for a different way to get around, really.
So could you roughly quantify as many as I possibly can?
Is
that 100 bikes? You build one every 3 hours. If you build 5 a week, 52 weeks. Somebody better math. Tell me how many that is.
About 2,500.
About 2,500. Could you build 2,500 bikes in 1 year by yourself if you got the customers?
Oh yeah. That's not even, like I said, this is my passion. This is something that I do on my spare time. This is something that I do when I get home. This is something that I do when I'm bored. It's really everything that I live to do. I come home sometimes and don't eat because I'm so focused on making this bike better. If I actually had multiple bikes to build, my production would probably go up because Most of the time, I'm just popping things on, trying something new, a different method. I could definitely make that number, whatever.
Okay, so our final question we ask every entrepreneur up here is, what can this community here do for you? How can we help you succeed?
Spread the word, and I need help funding.
You need help funding?
Yes.
And do you have a model for that? Do you have a number? Are you
15 grand is all it takes for me to make the first 10 bikes, and the first 10 bikes should pay for the rest. So after the first 10 bikes, they'll have enough profits for me to make another 10 bikes with extra to put on top of that. And that's what I was working to have electric motorcycles and bikes, and I'll transition into those once I have enough money and research and development with those as well to feel confident enough to build electric dirt bikes and street bikes and crotch rockets.
There's 100 follow-up questions to that 15 grand, so we'll save that for another time. That's definitely a good reason to talk to 757 Angels Hatch Peninsula Technology Incubator to help you figure out this problem. So let's give Aaron a hand.